morning. And how are you doing today? It is Tuesday, February 27th. 2 more days and here goes the month of February. It is a beautiful and amazing morning. Things are looking up. The weather is nice. Hello, Lynn. Good morning. Thanks for coming. It is a lovely, lovely morning. And because it is such a lovely, lovely morning, good morning, Ryan. Good morning, Aman. Good morning, Glenn. Somehow just hello. I think I've seen you before here. Welcome to the Morning Blessings. It is Tuesday, another wonderful day. A new day for new ideas to pop into our minds and to follow through with them. It's important that we do that. As we go through our day, we're going to be facing different things. But if we plan it, then we have it. Here you are, beautiful soul family. I'm going to pin this. This is really nice, Aman. Keep going and keep shining like a star. Anyway, good morning. It's 8 o'clock. Let's get this wonderful show on the road. Did you see the headlines? The topic for today is, here we go. What is the meat in the sandwich called life? Hi, Ryan. Good morning. Hello, Christy. Thanks for dropping in. I know you have a busy schedule, so I always appreciate it. I'm grateful for each of you. But when you guys come in, even if it's just for a minute, to say hi and to just get your little bit, open up and receive your vitamin for the day, I am so excited when you do that. Good morning, Nancy. So guess what I wrote this morning? And I wonder which of you needed to hear that. That is not the topic, but I need to bring this out. So be guided by what you see. Reach out with no judgment, only release to others as God releases to you. Be the person you love being. Look immaculate you are. So who wants this? Who is willing to take this? I'm giving it to whoever. Be guided by what you see. Reach out with no judgment, only release to others as God releases to you. Be the person you love being. Look immaculate you are. Good morning, Jean. So I am not going, you don't have to say this was for me unless you choose to. But that is how I am. That's how I live my life. Be guided by what you see. Reach out with no judgment. Only release to others as God releases to you. Be the person you love being. Look immaculate because you are. Good morning, Loretta. How are you doing? So this is for somebody that, whoever wants to pick it up, or whoever maybe was told that they had to fix something. Hey, that's for you. If somebody happened to tell you you had to fix something last night, this morning, yesterday, after the morning blessing, and it is still nagging you, pick this up and realize God releases to you and have no judgment. Just release. And maybe you might wonder, what does that mean? You have a dollar in your purse today. And when you have it, that's something you've got. If judgment enters my mind, I cancel the thought. I think of something good instead. Amazing. What I want you to really remember, when you give to charity, or you see that person on the grid, or you see that person in front of the liquor store, and they're sitting there waiting for a handout, and you could give $1, but you think, and you have made a judgment call by saying, they're right at the liquor store, chances are they're going to buy liquor. It's okay for you to buy liquor because it's your money. But you decide, if I give that $1, that 50 cents, that 20 cents, whatever you give, they're going to use it to buy liquor or drugs. That is judgment. So release as God releases to you. And you will notice that more of it will flow back to you, because you are not to receive from those you give. You are to receive from the most amazing and beautiful God there ever was. Hello, my dear. Your name, crazy bookcase. I would buy them food instead. Yeah, you know what though? Maybe, good morning, Yuko. Maybe in the moment you can't. But your job is to give. You have, you give. That's our job in this world. So when, Christy, I know what you're saying, and I know many people who do exactly, good morning, Stacy, do exactly what you do, what you just said. You buy them food instead. But to me, that is judging. Because those that say to me, Tessa-Marie, when they say, can you buy me food? I buy food if I have the time. Or I say, here's the $10 or $5, go buy it yourself. So the idea is God does not say to us, I am releasing to you, and what I'm releasing to you, do not go and buy a bottle of wine with it. Do not go and buy makeup with it. Do not go and buy a steak to eat with it. So we have to release to others when we give the same way God gives us, with no strings attached. So if the person is happened to be sitting in front of a liquor store and you are coming out or going in and they ask and you hand it. The minute it leaves your hand, it's no longer yours. You are not in a position to make a decision as to what to do with it. When we pay our mortgages and we pay our bills, we do not tell those credit card companies what to do with our payment to them for the goods we have received. We just give it to them. And sometimes they maybe will use it for something we would prefer, the profit they make from that. So this is the same. Good morning, Peter. How are you doing this morning? And how are you amazing people feeling today? So when you give, as I said, I will read this again because there's a few of you there. I wrote it and it was so important to me. Be guided by what you see. Reach out with no judgment. Only release to others as God releases to you. Be the person you love being. Look immaculate because you are. So it's all about the inside. You see, you give, look your best because you are. And then when I wanted to get my topic for today, we're already 6 minutes into it, but this was so important, and yet I knew I couldn't use it as a topic. The topic for today, what it said to us is that do your best. What is the sandwich? What is the meat in the sandwich called life? And you're going to say she's crazy, she's gone. But you know what? I have been labeled that already, so it doesn't really matter. When you do your best, that is the meat in your life. That is the meat in the sandwich of your life, doing your best. There is nothing less than doing your best. And there is nothing more than doing your best. You just have to do your best. We all have to do our best. Now, doing our best can be as simply as after you use the butter in the kitchen, you put the lid on properly. After you pour the oil in the pot, you make sure the lid is screwed on properly. Just in case. The next time, without thinking, you or somebody else picks it up by the lid and you know the result. So that is why it avoids the accident. It avoids the disappointment. Do your best. So that is the sandwich in life. But what is on either side of that? What type of bread is in that sauce? Oh, thank you. Oh, by the way, I forgot to do this. They're coming to fix my security camera. And they said between 8 and 12. So if the doorbell goes, that's why I'm dressed in a jacket, so I can just run outside and open the garage for them to do whatever it is they have been trying to do for months and cannot succeed. So we'll just let them do their thing since I cannot do it. So just in case I say I have to go, that's why. So our best is the meat in our life. The most amazing thing. Good morning, FSR. How are you feeling this morning? So there we are with that meat in our bread. And what is the bread do? Today they will succeed. Praise the Lord from your mom, Christy, to God's ear. When you do your best, you're planting this, that is your sandwich. It makes life taste better. But to hold the sandwich together, you cannot just be eating the meat or eating the fish or having an egg. You need more than that, right? So when you put the sandwich of life together, you need two things to hold, to bring the sandwich together so that it really tastes good. What are those two things? I can wait for you guys to say that, but since we might have to clip our show before 8:30, I'm going to tell you. If you know or you think you know what is the sandwich called life and what is the bread, because the meat is doing your best, and there is bread on either side to hold the meat of your life together, right? So I want you to think, the meat is the sandwich in the middle. That meat is what is holding. Your life is a sandwich. You have done your best. That is the meat. What is on either side of that, holding that meat of your life together? The essence of you together. You're doing your best together, even as simply as screwing back the tap on the bottle, pouring just enough tea in a cup. Don't overflow it. Moving with grace through the kitchen, not burning your hands and things like that. What makes that happen? There are two things. And one of them is the faith you have. That your faith is one slice of bread. Your belief in yourself that you're doing your best and nothing else matters. And the faith is, I can do it. That is your sandwich of life. And if you hold that together with faith and belief, you must succeed. That doesn't mean sometimes a little of the meat will not fall off the bread. Sometimes it doesn't mean that the bread will break, and it doesn't mean that the bread won't break and some falls off on the floor. It doesn't mean that you might have to pick this sandwich up because you are doing your best so much that your meat is thick. It's delicious. That doesn't mean that you haven't got to put it all together as you progress through that journey called life. Because life is a sandwich. Your best is your meat. One type of bread is faith. I have complete faith I will succeed. I have all it takes. I need the tools. And I believe it will happen. When you put that down in your head and you see life as a delicious sandwich, there is nothing else that matters. And maybe, just maybe, that is why I had this other piece that I read earlier to you and reading it again. Just maybe. Be guided by what you see. Reach out with no judgment. Only release to others as God releasing to you. Be the person you love being. Look immaculate because you are. When you are doing your best, it's almost like nothing else matters. If you're going to kiss your lover, give them the kiss. Oh, you know what I mean? Kiss with passion. Put your best into your love making. I know it's 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm going down the rabbit hole of love again. Bear with me. Please, whatever it is you're doing, do your best. From loving your lover to kissing your lover, to enjoying your life, to realizing there is everything in life is awesome. Good morning, Marina. What is the meat in the sandwich of life? That meat, for sure, is doing your best. The bread that keeps your meat together, your sandwich together, so you can bite it and savor it and love it and do your best, is doing your best is your meat. Your passion, your faith is one type of bread on the right side of holding that meat together. But you need another piece of bread to put that sandwich together, and that is believing. Have faith in your ability to succeed. Believe that you've got this. Believe that you already have Michael Jordan level talents. No matter what, Michael Jordan lost games. He missed shots. So did Tiger Woods. So these amazing, talented human beings. They didn't always succeed when they first started. Tyler Perry lived in a car. And that same Tyler Perry, when Prince Harry left England, was able to give him a house to live in. Yet, years before that, he lived in his car. He had nothing. When he succeeded, can you imagine a son and a mom? When he succeeded, soon after, I heard him say, my mother loved Mrs. Chandler from The Young and the Restless. I wanted to give her that. I gave it, but she didn't live long enough to enjoy it. But he did his best. He believed in himself. His sandwich of life, the meat in this man's sandwich was doing his best. He never stopped writing. He never stopped not doing his best. He just kept pushing forward. He did his best. And the bread he had to hold that sandwich together, the sandwich called life and success and moving, his faith was one type of bread. His bread was faith. The other side was believing in himself. Maybe it wasn't always successful. How many scripts he sent over and nobody take it on? He didn't stop. It's like you with your talent. You want to write a book and you want to do this and do that, and everybody was going to tell you, oh, you need to get a publisher. But guess what? He wrote his own shows. He published, he did whatever, he created them, and now he has a huge studio in Chicago. So you have a book to publish, you have a story to tell, you have something to do. You cannot sit on the stone of the river waiting for somebody to come and do the laundry for you. You publish it yourself. You self-publish it. Because that is doing your best. This is all you can do. That is the meat. I wrote it. And then on top of that, somebody's still going to say, yeah, man, you did it. But it's not a New York Times bestseller. And you have to realize why. What was my reason for writing this book? My reason was because I chose to write the book. It is, yes, they are the beavers. It is the meat. You're doing your best. Continue to do your best. Release it out there to others, just like God releases it out into you. Have no judgment. That is why I said, when you have that dollar and this person is sitting in front of the liquor store and they ask and you can give the dollar, there should be no caveat. There should be no conditions. Give the bloody dollar. Give the dollar. And do not wag that index finger. If I were one of these people, I'd bite your finger off. I've seen people do that. Then don't give it. Walk away. Because when you are blessed by the God you worship or the universe, you do not hear, and no, don't use that to buy wine, you call. Don't use the money, Tracy, to go buy wine, Tessa-Marie and Christy. Don't. You don't hear that. Here. Use it as you see fit. So this is what, and you wonder why your sandwich doesn't taste good. Because you haven't done your best in what you do. You cannot stand up in front of the God of songs or the God of words and say, you know what? I put my best in this. It doesn't mean that it will satisfy everybody that shows up. It's only going to satisfy you because it's all about you. No matter how lame, how selfish, how all of what it sounds, at the end of the day, it's all about you. Nobody else. And we all have to do our best. As I said, even if it is putting the cap back on the bottle of oil in the kitchen, covering the butter, making sure the eggs are not thrown all over, whatever it is you're doing laundry, you do not have to overload the machine. You know it's not going to be clean. Yet, you do not have to add more soap than is required. You just have to stay in the lane called best. Put all of what you've got into doing your best. That is the meat of your life. And life is a sandwich. Because sometimes you might say, the meat is a little bit soggy today. Because there is a challenge in your way. You might look at it and say, you know what, there is a detour today. My toe is broken, where do I go today? And that is where you need the piece of bread called faith. And you take that piece of bread called faith and you soak up the sogginess in the meat. You take the other one called belief and you said, I am marching into the moment. I'm going to go forward. I'm not going to let go. That is the sandwich of life. You're going to have the best. You do your best. And many times what you purport or what you do that is your best is not the best for the person, the supervisor, the manager, the director, the husband, the wife, the family, the mother, the father, the children. Mom, is that how you raised us? You didn't raise us good enough. That's why we are failures. That's what I mean. Life is a sandwich. And when you do your best, you have eaten the meat and you have put it together. And you can stand up on the shoulders of the gods of songs and words and desires and visualization and say, my best might not have been good enough for you, but it was the best I had to offer. And that might be a child that says to you, you knew I could be a good basketball player. Why didn't you invest more in me? And you really want to say, you know why? Because all I had was money to buy food. That's all I had, shelter and feeding you. But you just take it in. You absorb it. You smile. And in the old Creole way, you say, tato, tato, meaning later for you. Later in life, you will find out why the decision was made to feed you instead of pay for more basketball lessons. That is what you call making the best of the situation where you are in. And that is what the sandwich of life is all about. Life is nothing but a sandwich. The meat is your best. Your faith is the bread on the right. Your belief is the bread on the left that keeps that sandwich together. So you can plug your teeth in it and eat it. And yes, sometimes, just sometimes, that meat might have a little bit of chicken bone in it. That meat might have a piece of gristle in it. You're hungry for the sandwich of life. Thank you. That meat might have a little bit of beef gristle in it, and it means you have to chew it or spit it out, like Frank Sinatra said. I bit it, and he took too much of a big bite. It was written by a Canadian, that song, My Way, by Paul Anka. And he said, I bit it out and I spit it out. Whatever he spat out was too much. And that is life. It's not a smooth road. It isn't a smooth road. In the sandwich, you're doing your best, and still, just then, you're working so hard. Have you ever worked so hard? I am designing and sewing a dress for myself, and I'm so into it, doing my best so I can shine wearing this thing. I stitch my finger under the sewing machine. I had to call my niece who was there, and I said to her, turn the wheel of the machine towards you so the needle can go up so I can pull my index finger out. It wasn't meant to be like that, but that was part of the journey for that day. Did that stop me from making that outfit? No, it didn't. I put Band-Aid on, I put a tourniquet on, I stopped the bleeding, and right back to it again. And that is what your faith will make you do. When you think of it, you look at it, you're going to say, you know what, Tessa-Marie, I have to do this. Did you ever feel that thing? I just have to do this. And when that have comes out of you, everything comes to the surface. You might even sweat at the thought of how much you have to do it. And that is what life is. If somebody says to you, I have traveled this journey, I have gone through this life, and everything I desire is what and there were absolutely no detours, no obstacles, no challenges, no gristle in my meat, no bone in my chicken, no bone in the fish, no, there was something there. But sometimes when they say that, guess why? Why are they saying that? It's not because they're telling you they didn't have difficulties or challenges. You know what makes them do that? The pure, somebody wrote it, determination, perseverance, faith, and belief. They couldn't see. They were so into doing their best that an obstacle was only, hey, get out of my way. I have faith and belief. Somewhere, sometime, have you ever said that? Have you ever heard I don't know how, but what I know for sure is that one of these days, I will get to that mountaintop. One of these days, I will succeed. Have you ever heard someone said that? That didn't mean that that person came to the top of the mountain and they didn't graze their knee. That doesn't mean that there wasn't glass and all sorts of things on their way up. That doesn't mean when they looked down, they saw the beavers with a pot of hot water bubbling, and if they fall, they're right into that cauldron. That's meal for the who is waiting for them to chew on them. But what kept them going was their faith and their belief. Okay, I will spit out this piece of gristle, but there's still some meat in this. I'm going to do my best. So we need to understand that. And if you think that we all, or you and I and everybody else, are only going to have a smooth time, get an honest, rich human being, an honest one. that will sit you down and tell you life is like that. And that you have only one responsibility to yourself, and that is showing up and doing your best. And when an obstacle or a challenge is in your way, you need to walk around it. You need to get to know it. If your challenge is a horrible spouse, fighting and screaming is not an answer. Study that human being. Get to know what makes them tick. Get to know everything about your challenge. If your challenge is getting out of debt, figure it out. Look at it. Dig into it. Question it. Be curious about that level of debt. Find out what you can do. Do not walk away. Do not take the bill because today you do not have the money to pay and stick it somewhere and do not open it. Face it. Face the challenge. Open that bill. Do not close your eyes when you step on the scale and you're aiming by June to lose 20 pounds. And when you stepped on the scale this morning, you saw you went up 5 pounds. That is not the time you skip it tomorrow. You go back to that scale tomorrow and say, I did this yesterday. I did not eat the chocolate. I did not eat the chips. I didn't eat late. I drank more water. There must be a change. It's the demand and saying, is another way of saying, get out of my way. Good morning, Arita. How are you feeling today? The challenge for each and every one of us in the sandwich called life is the meat is our best, doing our best. And as I said, when we do our best, we will still find gristle or bones or something in the meat, or maybe it's garlic or somebody seasoned it up and you do not like it. But at that time is when you have to depend on the bread of faith to hold one side of the sandwich together. And the other time you hold on to the bread of belief. I believe it's possible. I have faith. This is my destiny. It must. I must have it. I will have it. Until you can say that, you will not realize what the journey called life is all about. I said, doing our best in everything we do needs two things: to hold it together, faith, and in what the intention is, and believe that you are equipped to do your best. Without the willingness and the determination to do your best, your faith will die. Somebody wrote that. She said determination and perseverance. And I wrote that at 6 o'clock this morning. Without the willingness and the determination to do your best, your faith will die. Without the willingness to do your best, you stop believing in yourself. This leads to disaster. And then you're going to say, it's because of that. It's because my mom wasn't the best mom ever. Maybe, just maybe, her best wasn't the best to bring you to where you desire to be. But her best was carrying you for 9 months free of charge. Her best was doing her best to feed you from her own body. And maybe she was not eating right that day, but it was her best. So instead, as I said, do not judge others. In this little thing, whoever needs it, take it. Because I know somebody needs it. Be guided but by what you see. Reach out with no judgment, only releasing to others as God released to you. Be the person you love being. Look immaculate because you are. So sometimes some of us cover our sunshine. We cover our beauty. We cover our immaculateness. We cover. And I am not doing that. People will say what it is. People will look and say, why are you like that? Why are you always wearing fancy clothes? But it makes your heart sing. It pulls on your heartstring. You take the time to apply the cream to your body, every nook and cranny, and that goes for you men too. I do not like to see ashy heels, and neither does your wife. If you want Yuko to take a knife to your elbow, show her your ashy elbow. Put it, use it. God released those things to you. But you took it and you hide it under a bushel. How in heavens will you get more? On the journey called life, that sandwich That sandwich is life. Life is a sandwich. The meat is you always applying your best of what you have to do what you do or to think. Somebody mentioned earlier that when I get a negative thought, I push it through. I know people laugh at that, but where attention goes, energy flows. If you have a thought you do not like, say, you know what, you have to go. You've got to leave me. Talk to it like that. Shoo it away. Again, there are many people, like I always say, you have Michael Jordan level talent. And you might say, look at where he is. But that is not where he stood when he was a teenager. He was passed over in high school. But they couldn't pass him over after high school because he kept doing his best. He kept applying faith and belief as his sandwich to hold his best together. Tyler Perry wrote in a car. He didn't have a place to stay. He lived in there. He wrote in there, and today he owns one of the biggest studios in Chicago. And he wanted to give his mother the life of Mrs. Chancellor for the Young and the Restless. He said he did it only for a short while because she died. Did he stop when everybody would tell him you cannot make it? What did he do? He published his own Madeira. You want to write a book, you want to do a podcast, and you're waiting for somebody to help you. Just go and do the damn thing. Do it because it's your best. And then stand up on that and be proud because the best of you is the meat in your sandwich called life. To hold the best together and to keep the best being determined and persevering and consistent is the two pieces of bread that you need. One is called faith and the other is called belief. Do not forget this because life is a sandwich and you need to do your best. This is your meat. And you need to continually believe that your faith is one slice of bread. And your belief is the other slice of bread. And if you've got those two together, you have to succeed. You must succeed. Because when your teeth hit a gristle in the meat of life, the challenge, the person that says no, the person that reminds you you're not good enough, the person that told you you're too fat, or when you believe you're paying your bill down and you get another one, and do you just stop and hide? What would have happened to us? Would we laugh as much as we laugh when Tyler Perry Madeira comes on? Would we be in awe of Michael Jackson and awe of his music if he had stopped? Or Michael Jordan when he takes those shots? Would we? No, we wouldn't. Or Tyler, or whatever his name, the Tiger Woods, and how young and amazing he was in golf. But we look at them. The thing is, the thing that drove them to be their best, we've got it. The thing that drove them to stay consistent, we've got it. The thing that drove them to hold it all together is their faith and their belief. Let's use ours. Have a great day. So we beat the telephone people, they're not here. Or the whatever people. So we finish our thing and they're not there. So how are you doing today? How are you feeling today? What have you got to say? Which one of you dare tell me that you needed that paragraph? That when we do not judge, release. And I use, for example, you're coming out of the liquor store with your God-given money to buy a bottle of wine. And there comes someone sitting on the grid, sitting on the concrete, and ask you for $1. And you give, but you have a caveat to it. No caveat, just give it. Because God does not give you a caveat when he hands it to you. Have a great and amazing day. How are you? And how many of you are here with me this morning? That was a wonderful Tessa-Marie. I will be reflecting on that today. Thank you, Jean. I love that. Juliana, Stacy, Jean, Erita, Marina, and Danny, Lynn, and Loretta. What a beautiful set of human beings here today. Enjoy your day. And make sure you take a little moment to think. Just think. And always try to keep your judgment to yourself because we don't like to be judged by others. Sometimes we do it. So let's see if we can work on it. I go through the same thing you go through. I have to pull myself back from the brink when I'm looking and going to make a choice. Oh, no. Pull yourself back. None of my business. Stay in your lane. I love you. And I'm happy and grateful, and I appreciate each one of you for staying here. And Stacey, especially you coming saying you couldn't come. Thanks, Nancy, for your wonderful message. She said, and somebody said that they're going to reflect on it today. Stacey said it was perfect. Never let your circumstances change your faith. No, that is a nice quote. I like that. And then Danny said, yes, ma'am, determination and perseverance. We know that. And she's also hungry. So glad I made it this morning. This topic was so amazing. Thanks, Stacy. Somebody gives me an amen, no beavers in my river. That was my mom's favorite show, OMG. And Marina came on, and all of you wonderful people, and Christy. All these ladies have to go to work. So I know they come, they take a little bit of vitamin, and they leave, like Azim all the way from India. His mother had dropped in also. And Jean said, when I get off track, I get a pen and paper and write down tasks I need to complete. And tasks I want to complete, then intertwine them. Good for you. I was sitting yesterday, just sitting, and I found myself getting up like a bullet. I jumped up and I said, you know what? Go for a walk. And I went for a walk. And that's what you have to do. Have you ever gotten up early in the morning and step outside when it's dark? Try that. You'll see how the world is different. I love your job. Thank you, Stacey. It's just as you know. Life flows like a river. I like that. To not give is damming up life. Ooh, Tracy, did you see that? Life is a river. Do not give becomes the beaver in your river. Great job, Peter, and all of you wonderful people. Have a great day, everybody. I'm keeping you guys from going, and because they're not here yet, I'm enjoying the moment. Talk to you later. Love you. Bye.